I think the biggest area that we can all improve on is our empathy and our ability to listen to one another. We all do a great job of communicating our own struggles and issues, but we fail at listening to one another's issues. And once we can collaborate, understand each other's struggles, and struggle together to the top, then we can get something accomplished.
So here during Black History Month, who are some of the heroes that you admired, that did great things, that you were able to grab hold to and sort of use them as visionaries for your own life?
One thing that I've realized is that what I've been taught hasn't always been accurate. And so even for Martin Luther King, you go back and listen to his speeches and he was quite frank and upfront and challenged America. In his I Have a Dream speech, you get the last parts where everybody's coming together and boys and girls of all colors can sit down. And that's what I've been force-fed, but they left out the part where he said America has written black people a bad check, and that check is bounced. And he refuses to believe that their banks of justice have insufficient funds. And those are the things that are still relevant today. You go back and I look at somebody who's never talked about, Fred Hampton in Chicago, who was part of the Black Panther Party. And Fred Hampton was assassinated by the police in Chicago because he, at the age of 21, was able to rally white people, black people, Latinos, gang members, all of these people he had brought together at the age of 21 to fight for injustice. If I can look at all of these martyrs from the past and see what they did at such young ages and see how they were able to organize and use their platforms in whatever way they saw fit, then it leaves me, I don't have an excuse anymore. I can no longer say, I'm not a Martin Luther King, so I can't create change.
Starting this year, Colin Kaepernick stepped up and began to protest. And obviously there was a firestorm across the nation. You and several of your teammates decided to join in a way you thought made a lot of sense. So where are we in this country when it comes to liberty for all, and what's your perspective on that?
When Kaepernick decided to speak out, it wasn't just on police brutality. That was something that he saw, and I think it kind of shook the souls of a lot of people around the country, but police brutality is a symptom of a bigger system behind it that is outdated, that is biased, that needs to be changed. But he was the first one to take the platform of the NFL and take their stage and amplify, his message. And obviously myself and other guys followed suit.
So where do you think we go from here? How do we correct some of the situations that you're pretty passionate about? How do we create commerce in urban communities? How do we create these equalities? How do we fix relationships with officers so that everybody in every community feels safe?
Me and a couple guys from around the league took a trip to DC to go to Capitol Hill to see what was already being done and then figure out where we can help. What bills or issues do we need to bring to light with our platforms and our following? I've tried my entire life to avoid politics. People have to get involved because it affects us all. And at any point in time, or at every point, you want your community to reflect what you want. And the only way to do that is to speak up and to actually know what's going on.
Well, it matters. It absolutely matters. We have to vote. That's the right we have. We've got to take advantage of that. And throughout history, we've had athletes that would say, it didn't matter for them because it doesn't affect their community. But I think you're right. And one of the things you talk about is collaboration. I also think it's vitally important to continue doing what you're doing, is to incorporate everybody, because it is our community as a whole. What are some of the things that you're doing at the foundation level that ultimately is forcing change on communities?
We partner with a program called College Track that was started by Steve Jobs' wife. They do all academic support. So they have SAT and ACT prep, tutoring, all kind of academic curriculums, after school program. So what we wanted to bring to the table was a life skills and mentoring portion of the curriculum. So we brought in leaders, business leaders from around the city to come in and speak to our kids, mentor them, and teach them about things like confidence building, health and wellness, leadership, all the things that I learned really under Jim Tressel, and how to take these academics and add them to how to be, the life skills to become a complete person that can function in any situation.
It is Black History Month, and a part of what we want to do is always put a message out there to young people and how they can get to the point where you are. Now, I don't think anybody's going to play in the NFL. It's very difficult, but being an activist, being an entrepreneur, being a college grad, there's some steps to get there. So if you're going to lay out a handful of steps for any young person watching the show, what would it be?
Well, the number one step to be successful in anything is you have to have the vision for it. You have to be able to see yourself succeeding in whatever it is. And so I didn't really think I could play in the NFL until I saw an example and I knew, okay, I could do that. And once I started seeing it, my actions started adding up. So we've got to get to the point where we can see the vision ourselves, but we begin to be the vision for other people. And then the next step was master everything that does not take talent, because this world is full of talented failures. And I've seen that on every level, from high school to college to the pros, where guys are way more talented than me, but they don't know how to do the small things. They don't know how to be on time. They don't know how to prepare. They don't know how to work hard. They don't know discipline or integrity, and all of those things play a part in success.